Hello guys, this is Alexandra. So I have a few of you online here, and we're just going to wait for a few more minutes so that everyone can join us. Can I just check a few things with you first of all? Can everyone open their question and answer section? So at the right corner, you will find at the top right corner, you will find a Rubik's Cube shape. So yeah, click on that. Okay. Yeah, all right, I got the comment, so it actually works. Hello, Poya. I'm glad to have you here. All right, so question and answer section at the top right corner. There's a Rubik's Cube. Click on it, and then you have the Q&A. So just click on that, and then you can ask me questions. Also, can anyone tell me if the sound is okay and you can see the slideshow properly? We're just going to wait a few more minutes, a couple of minutes, so that everyone can join us. We're all looking forward to it. I'm very excited about it. I've been working on this for a few weeks, so really excited about it. Right, so I'm just going to start in 1 minute at 8:05, and then whoever wants to join will have to join later on. For those of you who are on YouTube, you might want to click on join the conversation, so you can join us live on Google Hangouts and ask questions, because I may not check the comments live on YouTube, and I will answer them after the webinar. So you might want to ask them live. All right. Well, I'm gonna start. Okay. Okay, Amanda. Well, I'm happy to have you here. Is Matthew with you as well? So we're gonna start now. So today we will look at how you can take your body from shutdown, lack of vitality and energy, feeling aches and pains around the body, to fully functional. That is releasing physical and mental stress and feeling energized and aging gracefully, no matter the age. Let me just go on my PowerPoint presentation first of all. All right. So what we will cover today. We will see why we need to move and stretch, and what are the benefits of stretching and the consequences of not stretching. And here I will tell you about my story, which will explain why looking after your body is extremely important. Sorry, I just had to close the window. From a flexibility and mobility point of view, and not only to avoid injuries and to function and feel better in general. And then we're going to talk about which stretches to use and when. Why your flexibility today might be different from yesterday, and aging gracefully while sitting at the desk, no matter the age you're at. So here I'm going to show you actual stretches and the Merisoiu office stretch as well. Okay. So who am I, first of all? Some of you know who I am and what I do, but for those of you who don't know me, I am Alexandra Merisoiu, founder and coach at Urban Women Fitness, and I'm also the creator of the Merisoiu technique, which takes women in their 30s and 40s from feeling mentally stressed out and locked in their bodies to feeling energized, enthusiastic, and transformed. The Merisoiu technique is based on 5 essential principles: earthing, natural movement, Zajin, habit transformation, and fluidity. And today we will be talking about natural movement and fluidity. So we will tap into those two principles. When I am not a coach, I dedicate my time to Karate Shotokan, which has become my way of life since I was 8 years old. Now I compete in national and international level, at national and international level, for Shotokan karate centers in England. And the World Championship is in October, which I'm really excited about. Very nervous 5 months before, but really excited. And I'm also a seasonal obstacle course racer, and I think the picture kind of says everything. I don't need to explain too much about that. Okay, I'm just going to tell you my story and how, so you can better understand why looking after your body, the way I will show you, is important, and what led me on this path. So as a karate athlete in Romania, my home country, you don't really get funded, and you don't get attention like football, like ice skating, or other Olympic sports, or really high-profile sports. Although we were bringing medals in the country and all that, but no one really cared. So many years I didn't know what the physio was. I learned stretches and movement patterns, which were very inefficient and led to a lot of injuries. We had physios, but we never went to one. Massage, I think the first massage I ever had was 2 years ago in UK. So thank God I came to UK. So throughout my sports career, I went through a lot of physical pain, which was to be expected from muscles, tendons, ligaments, joints, were under constant stress and overuse at a very early age. So at the age of 12-ish, 12, 13, actually these pictures are, I think I was around that age, 14, something around that. So then my knee started to hurt, and later on we discovered, my parents and I, that I had a pretty bad meniscus damage, and 2 years ago I found out exactly how bad it was. I also had problems with my ankles and Achilles tendon and a lot of other things. But the reason I believe I recovered very well was due to my flexibility and mobility. So we emphasized this so much in our karate training that this actually helped my body recover faster. So among the reasons I recovered, it's the strong foundations, and also I was flexible but not hypermobile. So that's dangerous. A lot of people are very impressed by people can do really cool things and they are hypermobile. That's really dangerous. So after so many experiences with injuries, 20 years to be more exact, I can understand most injuries and I can advise on most of them. And there are instances I cannot advise, but many injuries come from body misuse and lack of flexibility and mobility. But there is a silver lining to all of it. So there always is. Because I can understand my clients' pains to a certain extent, this makes me a better coach. And in fact, my first ever client, when I became a personal trainer in a gym, came to me to lose weight, but also to address 10 years of really bad back pain. And she spent thousands of pounds on physios and massage therapies, which made her feel better for a while, but never addressing the underlying cause. That was body misuse and weakness and inflexible muscles and in other parts of the body. So she could barely get out of bed in the morning, and so in 6 months, after we were working on strength and mobility and flexibility and everything we needed to do, we got her from not being able to wake up comfortably to waking up refreshed with almost no pain or stiffness. So remember, 10 years of physiotherapy, and then in 6 months, we got her to a point where she was very comfortable to wake up in the morning. So she did the exercises, aligned her body properly, looked after mobility and flexibility, and she did the work, and the results showed up. So if you, at the end of the webinar, I'm going to give you stretches and stuff to do by yourself. If you do them, you too can benefit like she did. So before I go any further, I would like to point out a few things. And I'm not a doctor or a therapist, but I do have the experience. Everything in this presentation is for education purposes. You are responsible for any injuries as a result of following the advice in this presentation, especially if it's not under coaching. And please, if you are unsure of what and how to do the things, seek expertise or seek an experienced coach or ask for advice. You know how to find me, so just drop me an email if you're not sure. Cool. So let's go on. So I look around and notice how overlooked flexibility and mobility are. So I can only assume that because being flexible does not directly increase muscle mass or help weight loss, although it does, many don't consider it to be important until you actually need it and you find out you don't have it. And I'm going to give you examples of these things. So fitness enthusiasts regularly spend like 10 minutes at the beginning and the end of the workout to stretch. That's better than nothing, but that's barely half of what they should do, in my opinion. I mean, the sessions I do with my clients are 1 hour and a half, and we put a lot of emphasis on mobility and flexibility. And actually, the exercises we have in the session, besides strengthening the body and helping with weight loss and toning and everything else, it also mobilizes and makes the body more flexible. Okay, so why do we need to move and stretch? I want to talk about the fascia because this is very overlooked. Not many people know about it, but once you understand it, once you become aware of it, it makes sense and it's going to help you. So we have one muscle and one body. In Latin, the word fascia means band, and that band connects your body into one unit. And it's everywhere inside of you. It's a thin membrane, a fluid and fiber-based system throughout the body. And it's like a fuzz. It brings together every muscle, bone, organ, tendon, and ligament in your body. And fascia forms 100% interconnected network that is much more whole than it is separate. So I always tell my students that the body is a whole unit. You are not legs, arms, abs, back, and torso. You are a system that is interconnected, and whenever something happens somewhere in your body, there is a reaction in another side of your body where you didn't even think there could be one. For example, your hamstrings are connected to your cheeks, to your cheek muscles. So if you stretch your cheek muscles, you will improve your flexibility in your hamstrings. And I'm really serious about this because I did the experiment and I didn't do it once or twice. I did it many times. I'm very skeptical about these things. So I did it. So then why do we need to stretch our hamstrings? Well, the thing is, to stretch the cheek muscles, you have to hold your hand in your mouth for 30 seconds. And that's just weird. You don't want to do that around the gym or maybe in the forest. Yes, maybe we can do that in the forest. But anyway, your cheekbones. So the fascia goes from your cheeks to your hamstrings. So when we say we are stretching the hamstrings or quads or whatever in the body, we are not actually stretching only those muscles. We are stretching many others because of how connected and intertwined the muscles are through fascial tissues. So this membrane is like a fuzz. When you peel the skin off a chicken, you see that fuzz. Well, that thing melts when muscles move and when touched. So let's say you go to sleep. The interfaces between your muscles can grow that fuzz, and in the morning when you wake up and you stretch, the fuzz melts. Then the stiff feeling you have is the solidification of your tissues. The sliding surfaces aren't sliding anymore. So there is that fuzz growing in between them. So by melting the fuzz, we are actually referring to hydration or liquefaction, not removal of tissues that belong there. So it's hydration. So here's another example. Let's say we experience an injury, a shoulder injury. The joint stiffens and you don't want to move it because it hurts, obviously. So you go to bed, you wake up, you don't stretch or move because, again, it hurts. and that fuzz doesn't melt throughout the day, and then you go to bed again, and then some more fuzz adds up, and so on and so forth. So after 3 days, you have a lot of fuzz building up, and it's very thick. So stretching at this point may not be enough, because because there's so much fuzz building up, and you may need to do more work, more systematic movements to recover the loss of motion. So I believe aging is pretty much the same, because we stop moving and we build that fuzz, and in 60 years, our joints just stiffen. So this doesn't mean that no other limitation, that there are no other causes to the limitations, but in some cases, this can be an important factor of muscles and joint stiffness and locking as we grow older. Okay, so the less we move our bodies, the thicker the membrane gets, and we experience stiffness. When we get it to move, the fuzz melts away, and the body becomes more flexible and more comfortable to live in. And the same goes for repetitive movement. The fascia will form according and around the movement, so variation is key. And what I teach my clients in our exercises are so diverse that they train the body in a multilateral way, and we avoid the rusty joints and weak fascial tissue. So we actually build the body from different angles, different perspective. We move in so many different ways. So movement variety and stretching are key. All right, synovial fluid. It's again something that very few coaches actually mention. We all know it, but they don't really teach their clients. So I want you to become aware of these things. This is a liquid which our joints secrete when they start moving. And that fluid is oil for our joints, like the oil for your car. So the main role of the synovial fluid is to reduce friction and, sorry, just lost my line of thought. So the main role of synovial fluid is to reduce friction between the articular cartilage, and it prevents the joints from locking and rusting. And the most recent example is one of my students who has knee injuries on both knees, actually had, or still has. And as we were testing to see when, where, and how the joints hurt, she told me they were hurting even when walking. So I asked her to do some simple knee flexions and extensions, some specific knee stuff. And then I asked her to walk again, and the pain disappeared. So we literally oiled the joints. So guys, we are born to move. That's why our bodies are built the way they are. That's why they are mobile. And if we keep them from moving, they may break down eventually. So again, in the with synovial fluid, movement variety is key. All right. I'm just going to check questions. If anyone has questions, you can ask them now. I have some more people joining us. So good to see you guys. I don't know when you joined. All right. So if you have questions for the newcomers, if you have questions, to open your question and answer section, at the top right corner of the Hangout, you see a Rubik's Cube shape. It's a menu. Just click on it, and then you click on Q&A, and that's going to open a question and answer section. So ask away. All right, so let's continue. The benefits of stretching. So first of all, it relaxes the body and relaxes the mind as well, because the mind and body are always connected. So every thought you have leaves an imprint on your body in the form of muscle tension. Everything is interconnected. Just never forget this. Everything is interconnected. Reduces the risk of injuries, day-to-day or sport-specific. And here I like to give the example of sleeping on mud or ice, because that happened to me, and that happens to people in general. So when you sleep on mud or on ice, or when you trip, if you are not mobile and flexible enough, your body will not know what's happening and will not know how to react. And it's just going to be a surprise. So your body doesn't know that. And it will stretch over its limits, and that's how injuries happen. It's really that simple. Increase your flexibility, and you're actually safer. It helps the body recover and heal, increasing the circulation to the affected areas. Ease of movement, reduce muscle soreness by driving blood flow to the tissues again. Prepare the body for physical activity, really, really important. We're going to talk about that later. Improved posture, because tight muscles affect your spinal alignment. It reduces the chance of cramping. You have better control over your own body when you're flexible and more mobile. You can actually reap the benefits from your workout. You eliminate toxins through stretching. It does help with weight loss, and obviously aging gracefully, because that's what we're talking about now. All right, consequences of not stretching. There are many consequences, but I kept them only giving you 5. So muscles tense up, and this creates a chain reaction of tension throughout the body. We talked already about the fascia, so that interconnects your body. It connects your body from the top of your head to all the way to your heels. So you actually have a fascia band from the forehead going behind your head, on your back, behind back of your legs, and all the way to the heels. So you are literally connected. Joints rust without the synovial fluid. Rust is like my word. Without the synovial fluid, and the synovial fluid, we need to move around. It's like oil for our bodies, and can ache and even lock out. And I experienced that throughout my career, and it's not a wonderful feeling. But the moment, so I actually this is good for you to know. If that ever happens, what I do, I actually don't panic. First of all, you lie down, or you preferably lying down, and you focus on that area where the joint locked, or where the pain is, and you breathe deep into that area and try to relax it. Now, that's how I solved most of them, and it really works. Breathing is really important. It can help a lot. All right, tight and stiff joints and tendons, which lead to repetitive stress injuries. And if you type a lot, yeah, stretching is number 1. You should think about it all the time. Tension and pain in the body leads to stress, grumpiness, frustration, and anger. I think we've all been there. And a locking joint, we already mentioned it, and stress builds up mental and physical, at the mental and physical level, because again, the body is connected to the mind. All right, types of stretches. Now, I want you to know this is really important. Again, not many people teach these things, but I think it's important for you to be aware of what's going on. So passive stretch. You use something, a wall or a chair, or someone is helping you stretch. Simple. The active stretch, there is no outside assistance. All right, we have static stretches. In this case, the muscle is taken to the end of its normal range, so it's the maximum, and you hold it without bouncing, without moving. So you count, these are short stretches, and you count to 10 or 15 seconds, not more. And these are done to maintain the normal length of the muscle. So these are usually recommended at the end of the workout. So an example would be using the wall to stretch your chest, that's wall chest stretch, or standing chest stretch as an active stretch. Assisted stretches, someone stretches you, again at the end of the workout, recommended, like a partner stretching your hamstrings. And if you go to the gym, you actually see personal trainers stretching their clients. So I don't particularly agree with it. It's just, but it's a personal point of view. If a physiotherapist does it, or if you really need it, then yes. But it's not my favorite thing. I don't really agree with it. All right, ballistic. This form of stretching involves quick, repetitive bouncing actions. So here, this is done to increase the stretch beyond the muscle's normal range using momentum and body weight. And they are usually used as a radical method of stretching, stretching stubborn tissues in physiotherapy and rehab. They can create a lot of damage, and it's not recommended in general. We used to do it when I was training in Romania in the national karate squad, but since I left, I haven't done it before, and I don't teach it. I don't teach ballistic stretching, and I'm going to teach you something better than that anyway. Dynamic. These are the stretches that use the body weight, but without bouncing. So movements are under control. These stretches are done at the beginning of the workout and should mimic the movements of the activity, and it acts like a kind of rehearsal. So if you know you're going to do lunges and squats, just do the stretches for that. This is okay. So at the end of the webinar, I have a video which is going to show you the Merisoiu stretch, and it's a type of dynamic stretch. And this is a fluid-free stretch, and you can actually replace your stretch at the beginning and at the end of the workouts with this. This will cover everything. So why flexibility today is different than yesterday? So these factors here do not apply to everyone. But the reason I'm listing them, some of them, is for you to understand what's happening whenever you feel like you've lost flexibility. In fact, you probably haven't lost it, and it's just temporary because of the circumstances. But it happens, and then you think, I thought yesterday I could do this. I was more flexible. What just happened today? Yeah. So this can explain. Weather. When the warm weather can help with your flexibility, because the muscles are warm already. How you feel. As I said before, emotions and thoughts actually leave an imprint on our bodies in the form of muscle tensions. And I'm actually reading a book which is called Stretching Scientifically, and they actually explain how this works. So if you do want to know more about that, that's a good book to read. The type of workout. Now, natural movement training, such as the ones I do with my students, although challenging, encourage flexibility and mobility. And so, for example, a high-intensity interval training or the HIIT training, HIIT, for example, may cause your muscles to tighten up. So when you stretch, you actually feel less flexible. How warm your muscles are. So whether it's the weather or your workout, it's again how warm your muscles are. If you've worked out the day before, you may be in recovery mode and your body may feel stiffer. Again, here it depends on the type of workout as well. Sleeping patterns. Sleeping is actually the only time your body recovers and heals in a natural way. The only time. And a good rest, not necessarily a long one, so it's about quality and not quantity, will help your body in terms of flexibility and mobility. How you use breathing in your stretches. So breathing is, again, a very overlooked element in training, and many coaches do not teach breathing patterns and techniques. How you breathe can determine how efficient your workout is and how flexible you are. So proper breathing when stretching, and I'm going to take you through proper breathing and stretching. I'm going to show you stretches, and I'm going to tell you how and when to breathe at the end of towards the end of the webinar. So proper breathing when stretching can increase your mobility and flexibility, while incorrect breathing can lead to pain and injuries. So, make your life easier and breathe. Diet. To thrive, your body needs quality food, and we all know this. When you eat quality food, you release toxicity from your joints and your muscles and from your body, and you become more flexible. It's really that simple. Hormones, age. Well, they say that, but I don't personally agree with this because I have so many examples in my life of people who are 70, 80 years old, and they are more flexible than I am, and stronger and faster and fitter. So, yeah, that doesn't make me feel very great, is it? But yes, I have so many examples that I cannot agree with age. Fashion. Ladies, high heels can tighten and shorten muscles and tendons in your toes, your feet, your ankles, and calves. Now, I know I used to wear high heels. Yes, believe it or not. Very high heels. Um, and I know they're really cool. I actually liked it, but they do reduce your flexibility and mobility and can cause some pain around the body. And then you have those really tight jeans that can actually restrict blood circulation. No one actually thinks about these things. These are two examples. Okay, when can or should we stretch? So I encourage you to stretch throughout the day, particularly at the office or when watching TV or when sitting around, because in this way you balance out the periods of immobility in positions of poor posture. And again, the stretch at the end is going to be really awesome for this. A while before you go to bed. So I like doing that because it relaxes the body, and you release some of the stress you built up throughout the day. If you type a lot, stretch your arms, shoulders, your fingers. Really important, the fingers. No one remembers the fingers. They're there. They're part of your body. So stretch your fingers. If you sit a lot, stretch your back, your legs, just everything. If you sit a lot, stretch everything. It's really gonna give you energy. Before your workout, dynamic stretching. During your workout, dynamic or static. So after, static stretching. So if you remember what we talked earlier, morning stretch. Should you stretch or not? All right, there are some people who say yes, there are some people who say no. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm going to tell you why everyone has a different opinion. So let's talk about your spine, because this is where the opinions are separate. So the discs are pillow-like sacs between your vertebrae that absorb the shock in your spine when you walk, when you jump, or when you twist, when you do anything. Your discs are constantly filling up and reducing the amount of fluid inside of them. So without that thick jelly absorbency in the discs, your spine would break and crack. So it's important. The spinal discs fill up when you're lying down at night, so that they're at their fullest in the morning. So the spinal discs are especially tight when you wake up in the morning. I hope this is clear enough. I'm trying to pronounce the words properly, making them more vulnerable to damage. So, I agree with this. It's really important. So to prevent injury and damage to the fully hydrated discs, avoid heavy resistance exercises and sudden intense movements. Sorry, I just need to drink some water. Right, and avoid forced stretching. So I always advise a fluid free-form stretch, like the one I'm going to show you later on. So other professionals actually advise against any bending or any type of physical activity for 1 hour before, from 1 hour after you wake up. So to allow the spine to dehydrate. It dehydrates about 90% within that hour. So this includes sitting, bending to put your shoes on, taking a bath, so shower instead. So yeah, these are the two sides. So as I said, I'm somewhere in the middle, where I can say you can stretch if you like, if you feel like you should, but not aggressively. And just pay attention to the signals your body sends, because your body kind of knows what to do. We just need to listen to it a bit more. It's really, I know everyone says that, but it's really the truth. And I used to be one of those people who wasn't in touch with their bodies at all. I had no connection. I wasn't aware of it. Yes, I was practicing karate, but they don't teach you that. So I do not particularly stretch in the morning, because I don't really need it. I don't feel I need it, but I do stretch in the evening and throughout the day a lot. So I will show you that type of fluid stretch, which you can try to when you wake up, which is safe. All right. I'm gonna check questions. Any questions? Oh wow. Yes, Richard. I used to wear high heels. Um, when to stretch a while before you go to bed? What do I mean? Okay, a while before you go to bed. It can be like half an hour, 1 hour. So I give your body time to relax. So half an hour, I would say. So that's how often. So Emma asked me, how often should you do the stretches per day? Just after exercise or during other times of day when you're feeling fatigued, sore, etc. Any time of the day, anytime. And the Merisoiu stretch is really good for that. Oh, actually, yeah. Okay. So any time of the day. Okay, that's you're doing the Merisoiu stretch. Okay, that's really good. I'm so proud to hear that. Okay, so that's all the questions for now. All right, let's continue. Mobility and flexibility. Again, since we've mentioned mobility and flexibility so much, I'd like to point out the differences between the two, because very few people know the difference. Move or be moved freely, and is an indication efficiently we move. So that's natural that I do with my clients. Flexibility is the bending easily without breaking, and is a component of mobility. Mobility deals with how loose you feel or how stiff you feel, and flexibility deals with muscle length. Yeah, so you lengthen the muscle. Mobility is about the whole picture, how easily the body moves, and flexibility is specific to a particular movement or joint, and it can vary around the body. So I can give you an example. You can actually, I can give you an example. In my case, I can do the box split, but I do have problems with reaching my toes. Yes, I do have that. I don't know if you've noticed, but I can do the box split. There you go. So that's the difference between flexibility and mobility. How long should you stretch for? Well, you can stretch for how long you want. You can stretch for 30 seconds, but you won't feel too much. Probably the minimum would be 10. If it would be 5 minutes to actually feel tension release. And you can go up to 30 minutes if you want. You can do 1 hour if you want. Before your workout, stretch at least 10 minutes, although I'd like to see you stretching at least 20 minutes. Put a lot of emphasis on mobility and flexibility. Throughout your session, after each exercise, or when you feel the need, but after each exercise, it's really good to do that. After your session, at least 10 minutes, but again, 20 minutes is my recommendation. It's just flexibility and mobility are really, really important, guys, and you don't really know how important they are until you need them, and you don't have it. And this is actually something, you have one session a week when you only focus on flexibility and mobility. So this can be a yoga or a Pilates session. You can do your own session on flexibility and mobility. Okay, so movement variability and stretches are some of the most powerful tools we can use when it comes to aging gracefully and be comfortable in our bodies. Okay. So here are a few clients that, a few of my clients when I was personal trainer and then when I became a coach. Jane, she was in her 50s when we started training. She's in her 50s now as well. And she had 3 major operations, including a knee operation. So she didn't do any cardio or gym for almost 2 years, and she wanted to go back to playing tennis. which was a pretty big challenge. So I think she worked with me for 7 or 8 months, and we improved her flexibility and fitness and strengthened the body. So then, after 7 months, she went back to tennis, and she had no problem. So I was really proud of her. Nicole, she had an injury, a foot injury, and she also had some lower back problems, and she wanted to regain good body balance and to improve her general fitness level. So after I don't remember how long we trained for, but we got her foot to be very strong. She feels she's more flexible and less afraid of extreme movement, and it's really important because a lot of people are afraid of that. And once you improve your flexibility and mobility, you are less afraid of extreme movement. Obviously strengthening stability muscles, but that's the topic of another webinar. She's more physically aware, and she feels more confident and much improved core strength, which has helped her back. Kat, she battled daily back pain for several years. That was 10 years. She could not do anything. So we trained for more than 1 year, and 6 months. So after 6 months, I got her. We got to a point where she could get out of bed and really enjoy life. And she has no more daily back pain. She lost weight. She's much healthier in general, and all the knowledge she gained by training with me, now she's putting into application. And most important, she feels more confident exercising with less fear of injury, which was our aim. Okay, now we got the interesting part with the actual exercises. So stay until the end because you're going to see the Merisoiu stretch. So first of all, stretching your triceps. So your hand reaches, so you can actually do this. So you can, as you sit or lie down. If you lie down, just sit up and actually do these things. So your hand reaches down along your spine, and the other hand pushes the elbow down gradually and lightly. You don't need to use force. So keep your shoulders down and leveled. And breathing, as I told you, I'm going to teach you breathing. You breathe out when you stretch to release the tension. This also mobilizes your shoulders besides stretching your triceps. All right, forearms and fingers. So you stretch one arm out in front of you and slowly push the fingers down and towards you. And this is a detail that many overlook. To actually stretch the forearm, you want to push forward through the top of the hand, and that's going to stretch the forearm. And you don't need to pull your fingers so much to actually use a lot of strength. Just slowly drive the top of the hand. And again, breathing out when you stretch to release tension. And then you have to stretch the thumb as well. Don't forget about the thumb. All right. Shoulders. Arm goes across the body. It's important to keep the arm straight. And the other arm comes behind it and pushes it towards you. You push it towards you. Under or above the elbow, not on top of the elbow, because you risk injury. And keep the arm straight and shoulders down as usual, and breathe out when you stretch. So I hope you guys are going through them, going pretty fast through them. This is one of my favorites, chest and shoulders. Interlock the fingers at the back, slow without leaning forward. Leaning forward is just, you can do it, but it's just not in this example. And this one, besides stretching, also mobilizes your shoulders, and it actually helps with posture. It's a really awesome feeling, actually. Keep your arms straight and shoulders down, breathing out when you stretch. And what I do sometimes, I actually place my hands on the backrest of my chair, and I do a passive stretch. So these are all active stretches. Yeah, you don't use anything, any outside like roll or no one stretches you. These are active stretches. and they are static stretches. Oh, and by the way, you want to hold these 10 to 15 seconds. You can do them anytime, actually, before the workout, after the workout, during the day. But these are meant to be done while you sit. Another one of my favorites. So this one is a side stretch. The hand below pulls down the hand above. So instead of actually bending and trying to stretch your body by bending it, you want just to pull your arm to the side and towards the ground. And it's really that simple, making life easier. Now, it is important here to lean to the side and not forward or backwards to protect your lower back. And if you're not sure of the position of your body, it is safer to lean forward slightly rather than leaning back. Feel any tension in your lower back? That's a signal that you are leaning backwards. So when you come back from such side stretches, use your abdominal muscles instead of your lower back. So actually contract, squeeze, engage, bring your belly button towards your spine, and really contract your abdominal muscles to lift yourself up. Efficient body use. And again, breathing out on the stretch. The neck. How many of you stretch your neck daily or from time to time? So just write there in the comment section, in the questions answer session, whether you stretch your neck. So back in front of the neck. You want, so this is pretty easy to understand. Avoid lifting your shoulders out on the stretch. When your head goes back, you can open your mouth. Actually, it relaxes the neck and you get a nicer stretch. And you can actually get a minty breath as well. It's actually a cool thing. Okay, sides of neck. Here, it's important to make sure the ear goes to the shoulder rather than the shoulder lifting up to the ear. This is a very common mistake. And as many of us are not mindful of our bodies. So keep the shoulders down and bring the ear to the shoulder and breathe out on the stretch as usual. Sides of neck. Important here is to bring your chin over your shoulder instead of your head and your chin. So instead of bringing your head and forgetting your chin behind. So the chin leads the way and the forehead follows. And keep the chin down, keep the shoulders down, and breathe out in the stretch. So these are your classic stretches, guys. These are simple, straightforward stretches. And yeah, but now I'm gonna show you a different type of stretch, which is more awesome. And this is actually a video. Oh, this is what's not supposed to happen. There. All right, guys, I want you to forget everything you see, all the stretches I showed you, just forget about them. So I don't know how that looked on your computer, but it didn't really look good on mine. So I will actually send you this video. So I mean, in this one, you should do the stretch slower than what I did, just to open up the joints and but make sure it's more fluid, and just go with what your body feels like, because your body knows where to go and what to do. It's a natural thing. Just allow your body to be more creative, and you can actually do this while sitting down. The other day I did it on the train. It's really, do it anywhere. Okay, so before we get to the questions part, when I'm going to answer all your questions, I would like to let you know that I have a 30 days plan to share with you to get you moving and start building up the discipline you need to transform your life. So, without or selling, I will help you create a plan. I will work with you to create that plan. And I think by now you should have in your inbox an email with the link to the page where you can book a 20 minutes call with you, and that's enough. That's what we need to put the 30-day plan with 30 days plan, step-by-step plan. So if you haven't received it in your inbox, check your junk mail, or let me know and I will email it to you. So what we've covered: why we need to move and stretch, the benefits of stretching and the consequences of not stretching, which stretches to use and when, and we talked about the active and passive stretches, about ballistic, about the dynamic, why your flexibility today is different from yesterday, so all those elements, and aging gracefully while sitting at a desk. We went through all those stretches and through the Merisoiu stretch, which I encourage you to do all the time, and you can do them in the morning as well, that one in the morning. Okay, so if you have any questions, any more questions, I will answer them now. If my mouse can actually, okay, my mouse just froze. Okay. Yes, Emma, I can touch my toes. I actually learned a really cool trick regarding the nervous system, and I can actually touch my toes easier now. Things like this I shouldn't say. Oh, thank you, Amanda. Yeah, I thank you for. I hope you're gonna do the Merisoiu stretch every day, like 10 times a day now. Richard, you stretch your neck most days. That's really good. Okay, do you guys have any other questions before I wrap up? All right. Well, if you have any questions, just drop me an email. And thank you for being here. And I will see you at the next webinar. And my clients, I'm going to see you at the next training session. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.